Take me back to the moment you found out about LJ being diagnosed with cancer.
You know, this started off with a simple stomach ache.
Yeah, his stomach was hurting him, and his stomach had got real big, and so she told me to take him to the emergency room.
I think it could have been like maybe 30 minutes later, you know, he came in the kitchen and he's like, "Mom." I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, LJ has cancer.
I feel like that God chose him to go through to help everybody who was surrounding him. So I feel like he was strong enough to lift us up. Because if it was me or one of us, I know I wouldn't have been strong enough to go through it. So I just thank God that LJ was strong throughout the process.
All right. Get it.
That Sunday, LJ and I, we went to church, and after church he had to stay with me because his mother was going to support her pastor in Walterboro on an occasion for the church. And so she had called and said that she wanted LJ to make sure he take his bath because today was going to be late coming back. And so when it was time for LJ to take his bath, I always say, let me wash you up first, and then you can wash yourself up again. So he let me do that. And so while I was washing him up, I noticed that his ribs were showing. And then I said, LJ, ooh, I can count your ribs. And he started laughing. And then as I was washing his back, and then I began to wash his stomach, and he said, "Oh, Grandma, you hurt my stomach, you hurt my navel." And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't intend to hurt your navel." And then his stomach got big, and I was like, "LJ, your stomach is so big." And he was saying that he always be teased that he has a big stomach like his granddad is on both sides. And so I said, "No, that's unusual." And so I was getting ready to dry him off, and he said, "I want to wash myself up also." And I said, "Okay." And so as he was doing it, and he turned around on the back, then his back looked different. And so after that, he got out the tub, and I gave him the towel to dry himself off. And then probably about 5 minutes later, he wanted to look at cartoons, and we was in the den looking at cartoons. And then he told me his stomach had started hurting. And then I said, "LJ, okay, when the last time you had a bowel movement? You been to the bathroom?" And he said, "No, Mama Carrie, I haven't been to the bathroom yet." And so I said, "Well," I said, "try to go to the restroom and see can you use the bathroom." So he went in there, and he came back out very quick. And I said, "You did bowel movement?" And he said, "Yeah, Mama Carrie." He said, "But my stomach hurt me so bad." And he said, "Mama Carrie, you always take care of me. You got something for my stomach?" And then I said, "No, I don't have nothing for your stomach." And then he started really crying and saying, "Oh, my stomach hurt me so bad. Please help me, Mama Carrie, please help me." And so I told him to come here. So I pulled his shirt up, And when I pulled his shirt up with his t-shirt, because he was getting ready to, for bed, but we was looking at cartoons. When I pulled his t-shirt up, I started praying. I said, Lord, I don't know what's going on with LJ, but his stomach is big, but I don't know what's going on. And then he really started saying, oh, help me, Lord, help me. Oh, my stomach really so bad. Mama Carrie, I know you can help me. And then by that time, when I prayed, and then the good Lord was saying, look again. So I pulled his shirt back up, and then it was a knot had come on the side, a big knot. I told him I was going to have to take him to the hospital, and he was like, Mama Carrie, you always take care of me. I don't want to go to the doctor. And I said, well, baby, we're going to have to go to the doctor. So then that time I called Shanada, and I told her what was going on, that his stomach was hurting him, and his stomach had got real big. And so she told me to take him to the emergency room. So we went, so we left, and then on the way, going down the road, you know, he really started screaming and everything, and asking me to help him. And I said, good, the Lord gonna help you. I said, call on the Lord. And he started calling on the Lord, asking the Lord, please help him. And so we went to Richmond Memorial. So when we got there at Richmond Memorial, they were so crowded. And then he started crying. And then they said it would be a while before they can get to him. So Shanada told me, Mama, take him to Providence Hospital, the one on 77. And I said, okay. So we left there, and on the way there, when we pulled up, the ambulance had just pulled up. And the man come to the car, and he said, ma'am, you need help? And I said, yeah. And I said, my baby, he's sick. And he said, well, I know. He said, well, I'll take him in for you so they can get right to him. So the guy who was driving the ambulance came, and he got Jarrell, LJ out the car. And so we went in, and then it was no time. They did take him right on back. And so they did, they put him in the bed and everything, and told me they had to do x-rays, and they was asking questions. And I told them I was the grandmother, and that his mom was on her way. And so they, when they took x-rays and everything, they were saying it looked like he had got hit, and it's like it was his spleen, and it was swollen. And they was asking, had he ever fell or got hit in the stomach before? And I was like, no, not as I know of. And he was saying no. And then he was having a hard time because he don't like the doctor. And he was like, what are you finna do now? What are you finna do now? And then I said, LJ, be calm, baby. They're trying to help you. And he said, okay. And then he was saying, oh, God, please help me. Oh, God, please help me. And I said, the Lord is going to help you. Don't worry, the Lord is going to help you. And then by that time, Shanada showed up, and they was telling her that she need to follow through with a gastrologist and make an appointment. And so during that time, you know, Shanada had to follow through with a gastrologist and make an appointment. And then when she called, she told me that the gastrologist said that they don't take appointments from the emergency room. She would have to take him to his own doctor. And then from there, they went from there. Shanada took him to his own doctor. And that is when his doctor sent him to Children's Hospital, told her to take him straight to Children's Hospital. And I think that was that Tuesday that she had to take him there, because that happened on Sunday night that he was at Providence, and that Tuesday was when she supposed to have to follow through with the gastrologist, and they just told her she had to take him to his own private doctor. So, you know, LJ and I, we went through something, but I told him whatever it is, God could take care of it, and God would handle it.
Preacher and Shanada had been at the hospital just kind of waiting all day for the CT scans and everything to be read, you know, and I was just like, it's just taking a long time, you know. And so he finally ended up coming, you know, back home, and I think it could have been like maybe 30 minutes later, you know, he came in the kitchen and he's like, Mom, I was like, yeah, what's up? He said, LJ has cancer. And I was like, just shocked. I was like, what? And started getting really emotional, but didn't want to, to show him, me being, I don't know if you want to call it weak or, I just wanted to be strong for him because this is his child, my grandchild, and I hugged him and everything. And he said, well, I'm gonna get ready to go to the hospital. And I said, okay, well, we are too. So we gathered in the car, and it was kind of cloudy out that day, and it was just the longest ride to get to the hospital, and had on some music, and no one said a word all the way to the hospital. My husband and I, my daughter Ashanti, and my niece Akeelia. It was just really quiet, and I guess I was just thinking in my head, could this be right? Could they be wrong?
We met at the hospital, and the doctor discussed the options that could take place to do the surgery to try to get rid of the cancer. And it was just heart-shattering, heartbreaking to know a young kid like that would have cancer. But once we got to the hospital to see a hospital full of other children that had the same type problem, it kind of eased my tension a little bit, knowing that he was in God's hand and he would be taken care of.
When my husband called me and told me I was on my way home from work, and immediately I started praying, because I know God's a healing God, and I work at Palmetto Health, and I see it not every day, but I've seen enough of other people's children. But it's a difference when it's your own grandchild, and really totally distraught, hearing the news. And then first my mind laid on Shanara being there by herself, so my husband said he was on his way over there. And so immediately he got there, and because they had to go back to the doctor to run other scans and admit him. Just trying to get a grips on, at times like this, we know it's a midnight season in our lives, and I couldn't imagine how they felt as being parents. But as being a grandparent, you feel like it's still your child. I know Janara, those are my husband's children and grandchildren, but I feel like I'm blood connected. It's not just because they still this or step that, but they're blood connected. And the feelings I had hearing the news was, it had been my blood, but my children that I bore and grandchildren. So it was just distraught. I immediately started crying and just praying. And praying as a God that doesn't let this sickness do unto death. And he did. God showed up and showed himself strong in the situation. And immediately, not only for LJ, I started immediately praying for Shanara and his daddy and everybody's involved, because it touches out everybody's lives, not just theirs, but it touches everybody's lives that's connected to LJ on both sides. And so I started asking God to grant us grace, grant us serenity, grant us peace, give us understanding, so that when all this is said and done, we know when his healing come forth, we know that God did it.